I could not be happier to have this panel joined right now by AFT and Schenker Institute President Randi Weingarten. Um, Randi has been leading the AFT and ASI since 2008. Before that, she was president of UFT and a social studies teacher in New York City. And she has spent her career working to improve people's lives. Randi, thank you so much for joining us and for your longtime leadership in addressing child safety.
Well, look, I'm glad to be with so many of my long-term pals here who are on this Zoom, who I've known, I feel like, for a generation or so, if not more. And my apologies for, we're in the middle of we're in the middle of, you know, getting out the vote, but I really wanted to be out here with all of you for a minute. Thank you, Jessica, for what you just said, and Ken, thank you, and Mary Catherine for wanting to do this. And David, I just want to say thank you for everything, period, full stop. But what's happened is that what we're seeing is that you see two phenomena in states like Iowa and Arkansas, which is there is a whittling down of the basically basic rights for kids to be in school and responsibilities to have school, and this really kind of evisceration of the child labor laws in the same time. And states like Iowa and Arkansas in particular have done both at the same time. And when somebody starts lifting up things like homeschooling, like people have a right to homeschool, they have a right to send their kids to religious and parochial schools. That's ultimately, a parent's right. But we also have a responsibility to be ensuring the best interest of our young people. And we all have a responsibility to be in locus parentis. And part of what's going on here is that kids are being used as they were 100 years ago to actually help ensure that a family can make ends meet, as opposed to do what we need to do to raise wages and make sure that kids can be kids. So there's a lot that we need to unpack here, but we wanted to ensure that our membership started seeing these trends in a real way and what we need to do to fight this. Think about at the turn of the last century, one of the things that happened was the books about the meat packing industry, was about what happened at the Triangle Shirt Waist Factory fire. And these became clarion calls that said that we as a society needed to do better in order to ensure that we were nurturing our young people and also ensuring that their workplaces, just like their school places, were safe and welcoming. And I think that we as a labor movement, that is our role again, to call out, to actually understand and unpack why this is happening. And we don't have a race to the bottom, but we have a race to the top in a way where we are nurturing our children and we're also making sure their families can thrive. And that is why laws about being in school and making sure school is interesting and fun and having the kind of workforce pathways that we've been talking about a lot, so that we help kids when they graduate from high school have a job that commands a great wage, as opposed to when they are in, before they're in junior high school, have a wage that is lower than minimum wage, where they can actually be killed by a meat packing plant. And we have to do all of these things at the same time. And so I'm very, very, very grateful for the people who are advocating against the exploitation of children and against child labor and also for the people who are actually in the government trying to make sure that exploitation doesn't happen. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for this webinar too. Thank you, Mary Catherine.
Thank you so much, Randy. Really appreciate you being able to join us and your support for making sure that workers, those caring adults in the lives of children are educated about this and stand up and then work in partnership with the Department of Labor and all their tremendous resources so that we can address illegal child labor where it's happening and work to create those really robust healthy opportunities for our young people that you are doing so much of with experiential learning and career and technical education. And those, Jessica, as you talked about, those healthy first jobs for young people. Really wonderful. So thank you so much for joining us, Randy.